Did you miss us? Because we certainly missed you. Welcome to an audio experience like no other. Welcome to the weekend. Nick Karski and Zenski with you here. Okay, yes, we will be perfectly honest and perfectly transparent. That's who we are.
Suck.
That's what we do. I got sick at the end of last week. You were visiting family back home down in Long Island late last week. So things just didn't work out. If we're being totally honest and totally transparent about the things right now, I got a little under the weather. Zenski was out of town. Things happen, man. Life comes in life kind of comes at you fast and sometimes gets in the way.
It didn't line up. We should have told you that we weren't having a show last week. So we sincerely apologize. And around Valentine's Day, for that matter, too, when we just want to show our listeners and our viewers how much we love them, and we failed. We failed epically.
Oh, God, I guess we don't love them enough.
Better late than never. Hopefully, everybody had a great Valentine's Day. We do love our listeners, our viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in week after week, or with the exception of last week for that matter. But we got a good one today.
We do.
Are you excited to be back?
Of course. How was your Valentine's Day, by the way?
It was uneventful. We drove back from Long Island.
Okay. That's all you did. You literally came back home from home.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And then did we order dinner? Yeah, I think we ordered dinner and then called it a day.
Can I tell you about my Valentine's Day experience for a hot second?
Please do.
We'll get to the headlines in just a couple of minutes, and there's a lot of good stuff to get to today. But my Valentine's Day was like no other. You know, this is the first Valentine's Day for Courtney and I. We're an engaged, well, not first Valentine's Day for us. I mean, the first time as an engaged couple.
Right.
So we wanted to make it extra nice, have a very nice day, spending time together. The kicker to all of it is that we wanted to end the night with a nice dinner. Now, with something called a pandemic still going on in this area, we decided, you know what, it's probably best that we don't go out to eat. We're still a little uncertain with some of the stuff that's going on in the world today, so let's just order out from a nice restaurant in the Elmira Corning regional area. Sounds like a great plan. I decided, you know what, let's get some wine too. I don't mean just like a bottle of wine. I mean like 4 or 5 different bottles of wine. Do like a wine tasting and pairing with our food, okay? You're
going all out.
Yeah, get a nice fancy dinner, get some nice wine, just have a really nice, enjoyable, romantic evening with each other, okay? Well, apparently on Valentine's Day, nobody in the Elmira Corning area wants to take your money because the places we got a hold of and said, hey, we want to give you money so that you can prepare food for us so that we can take it out and bring it home for Valentine's Day. They all said no.
Actually?
Yeah. Which I was floored about. I just couldn't believe, again, they didn't want our hardworking cold currency in their hands, and they'd much rather turn us away and say, oh, well, we're not doing takeout today. We can do it tomorrow, though. I don't care about tomorrow. Today's Valentine's Day.
Why would you not order takeout on the night that mostly everybody's going to be eating out?
I don't know. Well, I mean, considering that, I mean, a lot of people, I'm assuming, were probably in the same boat, not wanting to leave the house because, I don't know, there's something called COVID-19 that's still out there. I was just completely and totally floored by this.
That's insane. Okay, so what did you guys end up doing?
We had to have a sad Valentine's Day dinner and settle for a heart-shaped pizza.
I did see this on the text thread or social media or somewhere, but hey, you guys made the best of it.
But here's the thing. Some people might be like, oh, that's a funny idea. That's a great idea. Pizza, like for Valentine's Day in the shape of a heart, like not bad. No, it's sad because I had to actually ask the person on the other line, hey, can you make this pizza into the shape of a heart? And then to put a bow on top of it all, I woke up at like 2 a.m. with some really terrible heartburn, and it lasted throughout most of the day. So talk about Valentine's Day, just really giving it to the old ticker and just being a lovable, heartfelt sort of day.
That was actually Cupid. It wasn't heartburn. It was Cupid because you were so just touched by Courtney's love for you and just maybe the acidity of the pizza played a small role.
And the wings.
And he didn't mention that.
And the wine.
Cupid's wings. See, you get Cupid arrow, Cupid's wings.
What are you, a cannibal? The hell is this? What are you talking about? Cupid's wings? Get out of here. Get out of here with that comparison.
The fairy guy has wings. He has wings.
No, you're trying to make a joke and it turned out so poorly. Get out of here.
All right, then in that case, let's just go to headlines.
Yes,
go to headlines.
Please.
Find the button.
Here's what you missed.
I was so taken aback by you trying to compare Cupid's wings to chicken wings as if we're gonna eat. Like, come on, man.
Oh, good Lord, relax. Take it down a notch, will you?
I'm trying.
Anyway, even though we missed two weeks of headlines, there wasn't a ton that happened last week. So thankfully, we have a lot going on this week. Starting off with our friends in the space exploration field, NASA.
Oh, good. It's not. You mean to tell me it's not good old Tesla boy over there?
It's not your friend Elon Musk. No. Instead, it is the geniuses at NASA who are anxiously awaiting a Mars rover that is scheduled to land on the red planet tomorrow, or when you guys will be listening to this, yesterday, February 17th at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time, after a 7-month journey from Earth. Just think about that for a second. 7 months. This thing has been soaring through space at however many thousands of miles an hour, 120,000 miles an hour or something, I think I read, to get to Mars. And it still takes 7 months.
Okay, but what are they going to do once this thing lands on Mars? Do we know?
So from what I understand, they are. It is supposed to land in one of a crater on the planet and explore there for the next 2 years to basically look for evidence of, like any other of the missions to Mars, to see if there's signs of life to have ever lived on the planet. Because apparently, when it's landing in a crater, it kind of implies that it could have held water one day. So they're going to be looking through that. But the craziest thing about this is that the people who are controlling it from mission control aren't going to know that it successfully landed until it actually landed, if that makes sense. So, since the planet is so far away, they're not going to know it landed until 7 minutes later, because the signal will take that long to get from Mars to Earth. Think about that for a second.
Thought about it.
And you're not impressed.
No, I'm
geeking out by this a little bit.
You're somebody who really is all in with this space stuff, aren't you? You told me this once. I liked astronauts and stuff growing up. I followed it. I was very into that stuff in grade school. Whenever we would study space and the planets, and I still kind of find an interest there. But I mean, it's cool. This is human ingenuity at its best. Bringing a piece of man-made machinery from Earth, launching it through outer space, landing it on another planet. That's impressive. Yeah. No, I get it. I do.
You were so underwhelmed.
Well, because I feel like this is the same stuff that always happens. I feel like, scientifically they'll say, oh, wow, we found this, this microorganism that potentially could detect water, which potentially could mean there was life on Mars at some point or another.
You think that, but I mean, if any of these missions over the last however many years they've been going to Mars, they're all building on top of one another to try to make some sort of conclusion to, obviously inform the next mission. But regardless of the outcome, the fact that they are, again, getting a rover on the planet is going to be pretty cool to follow along. And but shout out to those the scientists.
Yeah. Shout out scientists, nerds.
Oh, come on. They're smart. Give them some credit.
Yeah, nerds.
And to go from smart to the complete other end of the spectrum, Donald Trump and his abandoned casino in Atlantic City. Now, we talked about this a few weeks or months ago about how it's been an abandoned property on the Atlantic City boardwalk for years now. And the Atlantic City Boys and Girls Club actually put up a contest to try to find someone to donate money to be the one who pushes the button to implode the casino.
That's right.
So, since the pandemic didn't really go away from the time that this was announced, they forewent that competition, but instead still decided to blow up the casino, and that happened today. And there was actually people stationed out on the beach in Atlantic City, like watching this thing. It took 3,006 of dynamite to implode the building on itself. So very, very symbolic of the presidency that he had, but it is it is now away from the Atlantic City skyline.
But here's the thing: has that Atlantic City skyline, is Atlantic City even a thing anymore? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I went there once.
I went there once too, and it was, I don't want to say a big deal, but like there were a lot of people around. There was a lot of flashy lights and stuff like that. But I just feel like Atlantic City is just a rundown, terrible, no life sort of place anyway to begin with. That it just makes sense that this big building that was, just stationary is just going to be...
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what the actual vibe of the city is nowadays. I've just heard anecdotally that like some people compare it to like, oh, it's the East Coast Vegas. People are like, get the F out of here. Like, no way is it the East Coast Vegas. Like, it pales in comparison.
I think it wanted to
the
be.
Actual Vegas.
I think it meant to be,
Absolutely.
and there was big money involved where they wanted to make this thing, an East Coast Vegas where people didn't have to fly all the way across the other side of the country to throw money around. But it didn't work out. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't care. It's just another building exploding. This is no different than Mars. Like, things, they don't work out clearly, and then boom, if you got to explode, just have at it.
God, your pessimism is really out today.
Nah. It's all because of the next headline.
Why are you sad? Our boy Tim Tebow is retired now.
It's a sad day.
Is it a sad day though? What is he retired from? He's going to go back into broadcasting or whatever he does.
Do you have the headline or no?
I do have the headline
from
ESPN.
Give us that.
Well, we just said it already. New York Mets outfielder, which I didn't even know he was still an outfielder technically.
Yeah,
on the Mets.
That's the position he plays.
He's retiring from pro baseball. That's your headline, and I mean take that as you may.
No. Sorry to interrupt you. Headline with this is that this guy, who was a Heisman Trophy winner in 2007 and hadn't played baseball since he was a junior in high school, hadn't played baseball in almost 10 years and decided to come back, thought that he was worthy enough to release a statement to announce his retirement from the game of baseball, the game of professional baseball. This is a guy who is... God, he thinks he's all high and mighty because he's Tim Tebow. And let me tell you what, he is one of the best college football players of all time. There is
undoubtedly,
doubting that whatsoever. But the fact that he had to release a whole statement saying, I want to thank the Mets, I want to thank Sandy, I want to thank the fans. Like, get out of here with this stuff, Tim. Like, you're a guy who tried to make it. And yes, I guess kudos that you tried to make it. But, like... I don't know, the way that this whole thing was just went about, it was just so annoying. Like, look, I would go to minor league baseball games when Tim Tebow was with the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, and he couldn't catch a ball in center field to save his life during practice, okay? Like, I'm not even kidding. I saw him get standing ovations in Syracuse for hitting, like, a $124. And it's just like, come on. Like, you're taking away... I mean... Granted, the Mets didn't need anything, like what did they have to lose with a roster spot in the minor leagues in the outfield position because they were pretty loaded and they didn't have to worry about the foreseeable future in that position in the major leagues. But you're taking away a spot from a kid who's worked his you-know-what off his entire life to try and get into that position. But yet you're getting that spot to be a minor league baseball player because of who you are.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I mean, it's symbolic of any sort of like prestige you have in the world. Money and fame gets you... I mean, like, unfortunately, like, not to be too much of a downer, but like I heard stories a few weeks ago of just because people are on the board of hospitals, they were cutting the line to get the vaccine. Like, F you guys, if that's the case. Just because you donate have the luxury of donating thousands or millions of dollars to a hospital means you get to cut in front of, like it's the same logic. Like, and I know the pandemic and baseball, aren't really playing in the same league, no pun intended, but like, I don't know. I mean, I wish him well. He's going to go off broadcasting or do whatever he does.
Oh yeah, he'll be
foundation.
on the SEC network with the ESPN.
He's not going anywhere. I mean, I hope that now that he's quote unquote retiring, he gets to do whatever he wants to do with the rest of his life. And I know he's a good person.
He's going to decide he wants to be a professional basketball player next.
Right. I mean, like, and if he wants to go help people or, be a coach, like more power to you. Like I give him a lot of credit if he wants to be the good person that he is and help people out. But there you go.
I do too. I understand where he's coming from. Or you're coming from, I should say. But at the same time, it's one of those things where for 5 years, the act got a little old, and he did find a little bit of success as he rose through the ranks, and I'll give him credit. But it was more or less to try and put butts in the seats of these minor league stadiums to drive in some revenue.
Do you think we're going to have butts in seats this year?
I don't know, but the sights and sounds of spring training are officially back.
Just listen to it. It's glorious.
You're really excited by that, aren't you?
Dude, this is my favorite day of the year, and I feel so ashamed because I woke up this morning totally forgetting about it. Because like you and I were talking, like everything this year, it just feels, in the last year, it just feels different. Right? Because usually for me, pitchers and catchers reporting is the day that I count down to ever since the last out of the World Series. And it is symbolic of the new year, springtime. Like I hate winter. I love spring and summer. So it's very like meaningful to me in that regard. Like I love baseball. But like I forgot about it this year. So I went back and was just like reading through tweets, and so it feels good. And just to honestly, no BS, to hear that sound brings me a lot of joy, because I know that the news stories are going to start to come out about, speculation for the year. And I know this year's going to be different, but we'll see. I'm happy it's back regardless.
The one thing I feel like it's funny, actually, I saw somebody on Twitter. I don't remember exactly who it was or how they put it, and I don't quote me on how this tweet actually read, but it was something along the lines of, hey, look, we're a month away from the month of March, and it just happened a month ago. That's what life sort of feels like in this pandemic is, life has just gone by either crazy fast or crazy slow or whatever what have you. But it feels different this year, and I think the pandemic has taken obviously the forefront, and you can see that in a lot of sports. Like the Super Bowl ratings were down, and it was one of the lower rating Super Bowls over the last 15 years or so. All sports numbers are down with viewership and listenership and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how this baseball season goes. The thing that worries me with baseball is the fact that you think of all the crap that happened last year in a pandemic shortened 60-game season. We're going back to 162. There's still a pandemic going on. We're still behind the backdrop of a virus that is sweeping the nation, and it makes me wonder just how messy this season could very well end up being. Like, are we going to see the Florida Marlins go through another instance where this guy gets COVID, so bring up this guy from the taxi squad and, hey, Don Mattingly, nice to meet you. I'm your starting pitcher for today's game. Like, we've seen that sort of chaos and absurdity in a 60-game season. It makes me wonder what we're going to see in a 162-game season and how much people are going to embrace the game of baseball as this stuff still continues.
It does feel weird, and we obviously don't want to downplay the fact that there is a pandemic going on, but and to play devil's advocate, I think MLB learned a lot from their season last year, not just from even preseason and all in the shit show that was the negotiations, But, obviously all those mini outbreaks that they had, like they learned where there are gaps in that bubble idea, if you will. So I think, I've been feeling optimistic lately. Like, thankfully case numbers are plummeting in the country, like week over week, hospitalizations, deaths. This is very clear if you look at any curve that we are on, coming down from that awful peak that we were at in early January. And I think if we keep going on this trajectory, by the time that the regular season is going to kick off, I like to think the country is going to be in a lot better spot. And now we have vaccines as a part of it too. So this is my optimism definitely speaking out. I'm not trying to minimize the fact that, we're talking about baseball players when people are actually like in public, like in the ICU and stuff. Like, I don't want to diminish that, but I'm trying to look on the bright side.
But for example, hearing this, it doesn't get people excited anymore. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know. I swear, man, like the coverage, like the media coverage of pitchers and catchers reporting and spring training and, a new hope is here and the optimism is, you just don't hear it. You just don't hear about it. You don't see it. I don't know if it's because, like I said, the pandemic, or the fact that we're kind of growing away from the game of baseball, or maybe baseball did everything so wrong last year that it kind of just stumbled into its way, or into our lives here in February, where it's just like, hey guys, I'm back here for the party, woo, and it's just like, oh yeah, we forgot about you because we had such an abnormal year a season ago. I don't know. I just can't explain it.
I think if we know human nature, when we are able and willing to go back to, concerts and sporting events and nightclubs and even out to eat for that matter, like humans want to be entertained. Like that is in our nature, right? And just because this awful pandemic happened, like people, I don't think you're going to lose a part of you. Like, look, you became even probably a bigger Bills fan during the pandemic because they went so far in the playoffs. Like if baseball or sports fandom is such a part of you, I think, I like to think that that's going to give you some excitement to see that coming back. Right. And granted, it happened last season with an asterisk. It's still happening with an asterisk this year. But, I like to think that, at least from my perspective, I'm not the only one that this is bringing a little bit of joy to.
Ever the optimist. No, I get it.
I try.
I'm not trying to downgrade that. Or downplay it even. I genuinely get where you're coming from, and I appreciate that sort of mentality heading into a season of baseball. We're going to see what happens. It's going to be a wild ride for everybody. Pandemic or not, it's going to be an interesting year because there's a lot of good things that happen during the off season, a lot of exciting things that happen during the off season. And again, it sort of feels like nobody gives a what, and nobody's really paying attention to the fact that spring training is here. I know we still have 40 some odd days until the season starts, but regardless, it just feels like that excitement level's not there yet.
We'll see where it goes. But speaking of the off season, do you know one of the most exciting things happened that wasn't even baseball related during the baseball offseason? It happened a few weeks ago at the Super Bowl. And because, we could talk about the Super Bowl and just like the halftime show, the game itself, we all know what the most exciting part of that game was.
Second down, 20, 5:03 to go. Someone has run on the field. Some guy with a brawl. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle of the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants. Take off the bra and be a man. And the players with hands on hips at the other end of the field are looking at him and shaking their head and saying, why, oh why, is this taking place in a Super Bowl?
And Kevin, if you're going to run that far, get into the end zone. Don't slide at the 1. You got to score once you got on the field. Get into the end zone, my man.
Lord, now they're cuffing him. But pull up his drawers, whatever you do. 5:03 to go, timeout on the field.
Oh, that audio from Westwood One, Kevin Harlan, the one and only Kevin Harlan, and Kurt Warner on the call for that one. That was unbelievable. Kevin Harlan is known for calling the most absurd things that ever happen out there on a football field, this being one of them.
That was, and so I admittedly didn't know that this happened because like I barely watched the game, so I just knew that it happened from like Twitter or wherever I saw it, but I hadn't heard that audio yet. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I know. Kevin
is so
Harlan
good.
is, you know, everybody's talking about Tom Brady being the GOAT and trying to compare him to LeBron and MJ and everybody being the GOAT. No, Kevin Harlan is the GOAT because of his play-by-play for that. So, there's a little bit more detail that's been, circulating a little bit about this guy who was the streaker, and my God, it was terrifying. So this guy, Yuri Andrade, I think his name is Andrade. I don't really care. He's a Florida man, so take that, with into perspective here. Literally, you could say a Florida man streaks on the field during the Super Bowl. There you go. You got things figured out.
That's your story, right?
He obviously came in ran onto the field. And he's doing some media tours now. And this is a guy who's claiming that he was a part of a group that had bet $50,000 that a streaker would appear on the field at the Super Bowl. He had locked his bet in at plus 750, but it sounds like Bovada won't be paying out that sum because he very well could have won somewhere around the range of, if I'm not mistaken, $375,000 for placing a huge bet on his ordeals. So basically, this is a guy who thought to himself, yeah, if I do this, if I'm able to run onto the field, and if I'm able to bet on myself, I could win a boatload of money. I mean, the guy's not wrong. I mean,
no,
not a bad idea, right?
Right. Well, I mean, the idea of winning a lot of money is not a bad idea, but like, listen, this is one of the things, unless you are drunk or high or stoned or just lack all sorts of logic and intelligence, you're not getting out of that as a free man. There's no way you're leaving that stadium out of handcuffs.
Zenski, this is a guy who thought to himself, I could go to jail for one night, leave out of here paying $500 down at the Tampa jailhouse or something like that, and then end up breaking $375,000. Like it's a great idea.
Is that really all it is? It's a night in jail and $500 is a fine. You don't get.
I mean, I'm sure there's some extra charges thrown in there, here, and there,
like
and everywhere.
A misdemeanor.
But regardless, like, I mean, why not? It's no different than those people who like bet on the national anthem. Like, let's face it.
Right.
If you're, I don't even remember who sang the national anthem this year because I missed that part. But let's say Lady Gaga sings the national anthem, okay? Say you got some family members you're not giving your money to, but you slide them a little DM, a little text message or something or other. You say, hey, I just sang my anthem at rehearsal for the Super Bowl. The over-under set at 2 minutes. I just did it in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Take the over. Boom, baby. Vegas is calling. You're helping out some family members and some friends. Think about it. It's probably been done before. It has to have been done before.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And just because I was wondering, I was looking up what the indecent exposure laws are in Florida.
Indecent exposure? Okay, no, whoa. All right, what are your indecent exposure? Just read them.
What, like the penalties?
Do you have? I'm assuming you have the penalties there.
I do.
All right, so what are they?
Well, first of all, we need to know the elements of indecent exposure. Sexual organs were exposed by the accused.
God. See,
the accused was in a public place.
Okay, I'm just going to cut you off real quick because should we really call this guy a streaker if he wasn't fully nude?
No, if he wasn't fully nude, then I think it would be more of a trespassing, probably.
So he's the Super Bowl trespasser and not the Super Bowl streaker.
Wait, but he said he took down his... Oh, wait, was he actually not nude?
No, he was wearing like... not a thong. He was wearing like some V-neck something or other that went all the way down to his waist. Almost like
the Borat thing.
In a way, yeah. I mean, it was like a larger pink version of that. And then he pulled down his pants, but he wasn't completely and totally nude. So that bears the question. is the Super Bowl streaker, since he wasn't totally nude, is the Super Bowl streaker actually a Super Bowl trespasser? Because he wasn't showing it all off.
That's true, because everything I'm reading here, it's like I just Googled like streaking crime, and then it comes up indecent exposure, exhibitionism. So I don't know what I'm sure there's like some law. I mean, obviously, like it's the stadium's private property, so
you're reading too deeply into this. You're like,
you know what I do with these things.
I can tell, because here I am trying to make a funny bit, and you're just like, here, let me investigate this. Let me go on the computer and have some like radio silence for like 5 seconds to figure out and determine what the answer to this problem is, what the solution to this crime is. Here we are just trying to talk about how the Super Bowl streaker should really be the Super Bowl trespasser because he wasn't totally nude, and you want to do some investigative deep dive research into us knowing whether or not that's the case, whether he's going to be charged with just a $500, his bail is going to be at $500 as opposed to $1,000 because he decides to pull his pants off and reveal everything to the audience. It's true. It's true.
Are you done ranting?
It's true. It's true.
Are you done ranting at me?
Oh, God. So what is he, though? We haven't answered the question.
I don't know. You asked me to stop looking it up, so I did.
No. It's an opinionated answer, Zenski. It's an opinionated answer. Is the Super Bowl streaker, because he wasn't fully nude, is he actually a Super Bowl trespasser rather than a Super Bowl streaker?
I guess then what's the definition of streaking? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Streaking is when you're totally nude.
So then, no, he's not a streaker.
So why are we billing him as the Super Bowl streaker?
I don't know. How do we change this conversation?
That's the BS with all of this. See, that's where I want more detail. That's where I want people to get it right, because he clearly is not a streaker. He's just a trespasser.
We clearly don't have, this will be a real test to our social media and just listening and viewership cloud to see if we could make a dent in this internet. I mean, this is old news at this point, though, isn't it?
Can you put this? Can you put a poll up on our Instagram like right now? And we find out towards the tail end of this show, and we see, not necessarily see how many people vote, but see what the percentages are. And it reads, do you have to be completely nude to be considered a streaker? Is that something we can do right now? Is that something that we have the capability of doing? Is that something that you're willing to do this time?
You know it. Give me a hot second.
All right, going to give you a hot second, because again, this is a guy, a Florida man, and again, I'm very puzzled by the way we bill him as a streaker when he is not completely nude. Like, you see it in the movies, you see it on TV, you see it in the paper. A streaker is somebody who's completely and totally naked. You can see everything that kind of comes with it. This guy was wearing a pink, I don't even know what you'd call it, like a leotard. Is that what it is? I think dancers wear something like this.
Yeah.
In black shorts, and then he just ripped down his shorts. And apparently this whole thing stems from the idea that he was doing it because an adult film company was going to pay him some money to do it to begin with. So this guy was going to get paid big bucks no matter what. Whether it was at Vegas or whether it was this adult film company who he was advertising, the name I don't even know. I can't even read it, so it doesn't even matter. So I want to put this as a poll, because I want to know, is a streaker somebody who has to be fully nude in order to qualify as a streaker? Because I feel like that's not the case with this guy. Are you still working on this Twitter or this Instagram?
I am. I forgot how to use Instagram for a second.
Oh my God! Here we go. We forgot how to do this. This is terrible. This is crazy.
Quiet.
I don't know. I still believe. I'm a firm believer.
All right, it is posted.
It's posted. All right, we'll get to it in a few minutes.
We'll see what happens with that. But what was your take on the rest of the Super Bowl? Because you mentioned Brady before. Obviously, he's the GOAT, man. I know.
Don't use that term.
There's no other way around it.
Don't use that term. Don't use that.
Are you
term.
denying it?
No, I'm not denying it, but it's just the fact it's time to retire the goat. Like it just makes me think of a farm animal the whole time.
The goat jumped the shark.
The goat jumped the shark.
You never heard that phrase before?
The goat jumped the shark.
Meaning like it's irrelevant. Like it's old news. It's phased out.
I don't. Here's the thing. He is absolutely the best to do it at this business. There's no question about it. Like I'm not going to deny that. What I will deny is the fact that we need to retire the term "go" immediately because I'm sick and tired of it. Just something about it just bothers me. But you got to give the guy credit. He was able to win that 7th title, 10 appearances. I mean, it's remarkable what he's been able to do, even if it means jumping ship from one team to another.
Yeah. Speaking of pets or animals, though, have you had a embarrassing Zoom experience in this last year of quarantine and virtual meetings?
What does this have to do with animals? Oh, I know where you're going with this.
We talked about this in show prep. So
no, I have not had any sort of embarrassing moments when it comes to being on a call with somebody on Zoom or Google Hangouts or any of the other ones that are out there.
This is somewhat old news, but we would be mistaken if we didn't mention this. But there was a few weeks ago. What's that? What happened?
And you froze. That's cute.
Oh,
that's
no.
cute.
I'm back. You're back. Are you back?
I'm back. Are you back?
Okay, that'll be fun to listen to.
Are you back?
I'm back.
I'm back. Are you back?
I'm back.
Excellent. Are you sure you're back?
Anyway,
technology.
I'm back.
This is perfect example. This is the dumpster fire that is Zoom. Okay, everybody is always talking about well, I had this embarrassing moment, or this happens, and it freezes and stuff like that. That's exactly what just happened right now, okay? Because let's face it.
That's actually hysterical. I didn't think of that.
We can't be together because he lives in a different part of the country compared to where I live. But here we are.
Not that far.
Well, okay, but here we are frozen in the world of the internet, just completely frozen. I don't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Zoom decides to start working again. So here we go as we talk about and transition to a Zoom conversation.
So you may or may not have heard of this, but there was a Texas attorney who was on a virtual hearing or court hearing, and he had a Zoom filter on, and he was a cat. So take a listen. Yeah.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow.
I'm not a cat is one thing, okay?
It's going to be on T-shirts. It's going to go down as one of the quotes of the year.
It's not even the part where he says, I'm not a cat. That's the obvious part. It's just the sound of the worry that he has when he first discovers that he's turned into a cat.
Stop playing that, please. Stop! Don't you dare!
No. Because it didn't happen just once. It happened a second time where he made these terrifyingly awful and just peculiar noises. Zenski.
Jesus Christ! What's his assistant doing there? He said didn't he say his assistant's there trying to help him? All right, come on. Done. I'm done.
Uh, 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 uh,
Can you make a song out of it?
There are things happening in that video that shouldn't be happening.
God. So
And the
okay,
noises.
Stop. Come on. All right, done. Stop. If you could, I need to find those because I'm gonna try to make a song out of it. Like I'll auto tune it. Don't play it again. No,
That's absurd. It's absurd. It's it's the sound that he makes. It's just not even. It's not even the part about hey, I'm a cat or I'm not a cat. It's literally the other parts that come with it.
For those of you still listening, God, I mean, I don't know what else to say to that.
How about we?
That was actually perfect, though.
Here's an idea.
We talk about how much Zoom meetings suck.
No.
We freeze.
We transition.
That's fantastic.
We transition to those noises to hey, Nick wants to have a honeymoon down at Disney World.
The most magical place on earth. Man, that's your next commercial right there.
So yes, we are looking at Walt Disney World to be a destination for Nick and Courtney's honeymoon in September.
Which I need to say, I mean, we've talked about my Disney fandom on the show in the past. I'm Vist. Okay, come on, mute it, please.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
You're done. I'm happy for you guys. This is exciting because you have or you've never been to Walt Disney World?
No, I went to Magic Kingdom for one day and one day only.
So you've been to one of the parks.
And
of Walt Disney World.
the only reason I was down there is because of Major League Baseball spring training. I went down there as a freshman in high school. Went to a bunch of different parks, and that was that. But I spent one day at Disney World.
And Courtney's been or no?
Oh, yeah, she's been there a handful of times. But
got it.
We obviously have never been there together. We're trying to make this as big and glamorous and bougie as humanly possible. So that's why I turned to you in trying to figure out what are the go-to things that we must do when we go to Walt Disney World, okay? Do you have a list? Can you give me a top 5?
Well, I have a list, but I got a couple questions for you to help inform this list because I could pick this stuff out of thin air. I know enough.
Okay. All right.
So first question for you. Overall, do you want a relaxing vacation? Like, do you want some chill time? Or do you want to be like, go, go, go?
Oh, I don't care. Whatever.
You don't care?
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked, okay, so you've only been to one of the parks. And how much about Disney and like its brands do you know? Are you familiar with Star Wars? Are you familiar with Marvel?
Yeah.
Pixar? Yeah. You know all that stuff?
All that,
okay.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, frankly, the list could be pretty long, but I'll give you my top 5.
Top 5. We got the imaging as always.
Number 5.
You need to go to Magic Kingdom. You need to go to Dole Whip.
You said this one other time.
I did, and listen, because they're classics. Disney has a lot of things that are traditional and people don't want to break away from. So Dole Whip, if you don't know, it's a frozen, custardy, ice creamy, pineapple flavored treat that you get at the Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
It's great. It's the go-to snack.
Give it a whirl.
Number 4.
Number 4, you need to ride the monorail.
Okay.
You do it. It's
is that like a classic thing? Is that something that like a lot of people do? Like, what's the deal here with this?
It is. It's the classic Disney transportation. It's been at the resort for decades, and it has a very famous spiel that plays over it in Spanish that you might have heard it once in a while that a lot of people try to memorize and repeat back.
Okay.
But it's just fun. It's a different mode of transportation people don't normally take.
All right.
Number 3.
You got to go to Epcot. You got to drink around the world.
Oh, yeah. That I do know about. And that I do want to do. That I want to give it a shot. I got to see what happens. Oh, God. I got to see what happens. Jesus.
It's a very, like, cliche answer to go, oh, I'm going to go to the 11 countries and just get shit-faced. But if this is your first big Disney trip, especially for your honeymoon, you got to do that.
Will I be able to survive the day? Is this something that's going to take a whole day, or is it just going to take some of the time?
No, so to walk from one end of the World Showcase to the other is 1.2 miles. So depending on how fast you go through there, it could be a few hours.
Okay. All right.
Number two is, because we've talked about where you want to stay, you need to stay and just dedicate some time to the pool at your resort, at the yacht club.
That nice, huh?
It's not. So it's called Stormalong Bay, and it is arguably, well, not arguably, it is hands down the best resort pool in all of Orlando, in the country for that matter. It is a sand-bottomed pool.
Really?
Yes.
Do they have drinks at a bar nearby?
They have a full pool bar. They have a water slide. They have a lazy river.
Huh.
You are within walking distance from this ice cream shop called Beaches and Cream, where you could go get a $35 ice cream meal called the Kitchen Sink that actually gets delivered out to you in a literal kitchen sink.
What in God's name would I do with something like that?
You fill yourself with ice cream. It feeds four.
Number one.
Absurd.
You need to walk or take the boat or get to Hollywood Studios and go on Rise of the Resistance.
Oh my God, that's the thing you've got to like try and get into like super early in the morning or something like that, or sign up for, right?
7 a.m. You need to get a boarding group. It's a virtual queue. And because it's the most in-demand, most popular, most ambitious ride that's ever been built in the amusement industry, and boy, is it worth the wait.
Really? You're speaking that highly of it?
Dude, did you watch the vlog about this yet?
No, I mean, I've watched, I remember you tried to like get the queue or the boarding pass or whatever, but I don't know anything about it. I don't remember watching your vlog about how like a reaction video or anything like that.
So if you're trying to avoid spoilers, we put that in the video so you could skip around.
Well, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here. Don't give me a spoiler.
Okay, I'm not. But when you watch that video, make sure you don't actually let us spoil the ride for you. So you need to skip ahead. But yeah, you need to do it. It's awesome.
Was this your way of just trying to get your vlog?
No,
it was some
not.
love on this show today.
Nope. But now that you mention it, follow a couple travelers on YouTube.
You guys got a lot of subscribers, man. You guys are killing it.
We're working on it.
You and Jenna are absolutely killing it, man.
Thank you. Well, hey, we're obviously here to help you and Courtney plan your wonderful honeymoon.
Oh, thanks.
I'm excited for you guys.
No, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. We're still trying to work out and hammer out some of the details, just like we're trying to hammer out a lot of other details with everything else too. So, it's that time of the year, man. It's February, and it's pretty soon. It's going to be like the end of February, and then things are going to really start getting real.
You feeling it?
Really real, man.
Feeling the pressure of having a wedding?
The pressure of having a wedding in a pandemic. That's just an absolute blast for us to have to deal with right now. But
well,
we're making it work.
We're all here to help you through it. You don't need to do it alone. You guys are doing it together, and you got your friends and your family to help you out.
Oh, that's such a nice sentimental way to end the show.
We talked about Valentine's Day at the top. Always got to show the love, man. Hey, you stay classy, my friend.
Oh.
You stay classy, my friend.
Peace.
See ya.
Oh.